In this video, I'll be reviewing the syllabus for Math 14 Statistical Methods online for the spring semester 2022. Catalog description. This course is an introduction to descriptive and inferential statistics. Students learn how to use measures of central tendency and dispersion among population samples to draw inferences about a population and to compare two or more populations. Discrete and continuous probability density distributions are analyzed, including the binomial, normal, student t, chi-squared, and f distributions. Confidence intervals for population means, proportions, and variance are determined. Additional topics include regression and correlation analysis and techniques of hypothesis testing, including analysis of variance. The course includes application of technology for statistical analysis and the interpretation of the relevance of the statistical findings. Applications use data from disciplines that include business, social sciences, psychology, life science, health science, and education. Below that, you can see what the prerequisite is of this course. The credit for this course is 4 units. The time, day, and room of the class meeting is online, and the location of the class is also online. My name is F. Anthony Siciliano. There is my email address. My office location is in room 212, and there is my telephone number and extension. And then here you can see the student office hours for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then that should also say Thursday. Okay, so these may change depending upon semester availability, but I will let you know during those times as to when they change with an announcement. The meeting ID for my office hours on Zoom is here. It's also located on Canvas. Now, student office hours are for your benefit to help you succeed in the course. Office hours are for you, the student, not for me, as I am available at those times not only to discuss the course, but any questions you have about math courses at the college, your field of study, your transfer plans, and career paths. The best way to reach me is email and must be your student email account. Always include your name and course. All email contact between students and instructors must be conducted using the student and instructor CMC email account. For students, this is accessible via the My CMC portal on the CMC website. Any student email received by faculty from another email account cannot be responded to other than to remind the student to use their school email account. Please also keep in mind that grades cannot be distributed by phone, public posting, public announcement, or by email. Textbook. Because an electronic version of the textbook is available in my stat lab, you do not have to purchase a physical textbook unless you choose to do so. Now, what is required is the access code needed for my stat lab that includes the online interactive text. The author is Sullivan Woodbury, Interactive Statistics, Informed Decisions Using Data, 2nd edition, available at the CMC bookstore, or you can find it online in the My Stat Lab website. Number 2, this is recommended, this is not required, is a guided notebook to accompany interactive statistics. This is available for free on Canvas and in My Stat Lab, and you can download them on Canvas. This is highly recommended as I do a video of how to use the guided notebook. Class participation. Optimal learning requires student participation in the online classroom as appropriate to the classroom activity. Participation includes such actions as responding to questions posed, actively contributing to the group discussions, and completion of assignments. The instructor will attempt to ensure all students have opportunities to express ideas, contribute to discussions, and receive additional information and clarification as needed. Instructor communication information, participation guidelines, and feedback policy. Students are encouraged to send an email anytime 24/7, call my office, or leave voice messages. If I'm going to be away for an extended period and know in advance, I will let you all know in the announcement section of our course in Canvas. However, my policy is that I will usually respond within 12 to 24 hours except on weekends. Each week I will provide grades or scores and comments on assignments within 4 to 6 days of when they were submitted. After I send feedback each week, you will receive notification through your email or in a classroom announcement that feedback has been sent. Check grades for your feedback scores. As your instructor for this course, my goal is to facilitate your learning, answer questions, and encourage your participation. I will respond in a timely manner and on a consistent basis. I will provide feedback in the Q&A section of each unit you may want to discuss. Student learning outcomes. Upon successful completion of the class, the student will be able to describe, graph, calculate, and analyze statistical quantities and concepts, including data types, levels of measurement, sampling strategies, frequency distributions, parameters, and descriptive statistics. Determine the probability of an event. Use various distributions to estimate parameters for populations using samples and formulate and test a hypothesis, including ANOVA. Analyze and make predictions for paired data using a linear correlation coefficient, linear regression, standard error, prediction interval, explained variation, unexplained variation, and total variation. These outcomes will be assessed by questions on the quizzes, tests, and final exam. Grading. Your grade in this class will be determined as follows. The first grade component, interactive reading assignments, homework assignments, and discussion questions. This is worth 25% of your grade. You have projects. You have 2 of them, which is worth 15% of your grade. You have 14 quizzes, which represent 40% of your grade. And the final exam, which you have parts 1 and parts 2, which are mandatory to complete both, is 20% of your grade. And then the grade scale is listed below. Attendance. All students are expected to log in and complete some work at least once a week. Each week without work is considered absent from 2 class meetings. A student who adds a class or registers after the first day of classes is counted absent from all weeks missed. In the effort to promote student success, CMC has approved the implementation of an Instructor-Initiated drop policy. When a student has been absent from class to such an extent that his or her success is at risk, the instructor has the option of dropping the student. If a student has missed 12.5%, that's 5 classes or 2.5 weeks of the semester without notifying the instructor with a satisfactory explanation, the student may be dropped by the instructor. As a result, you will negatively impact your group mates' grades if you fail to fully participate in each group discussion in a timely manner. Less than full participation in this course is extremely disruptive to the online learning model, so I reserve the right to drop you if 1. You do not complete the online orientation by earning 100% on the orientation assignment. You'll have as many attempts as you need. 2. You fail to make any progress for 4 or more consecutive days, including weekends. 3. You do not fully participate in 3 or more group discussions. We have 3 of them in this course. And you fail to take final exam parts 1 and 2 since they are mandatory as scheduled in class. Per the college's attendance policy, faculty has the right to develop a more stringent policy as well. Students who do not attend or participate in class by the deadline to drop for tuition refund may be deleted from this course. In this class, we function as a team, teaching and learning together in small groups that are reorganized from one module to the next. However, if you quit participating in this class, you should not assume that I would drop you. Should you choose to drop, ultimately it is your responsibility to officially withdraw. Materials. We'll be using the data analysis package StatCrunch in this course. StatCrunch is an online data analysis tool and much more. StatCrunch is included in your subscription when you purchase the access code for my Stat Lab. You will be able to access StatCrunch with your assignments. However, an optional tool discussed in the course is an online statistical calculator. As schools transition to remote learning, Texas Instruments, the company that makes the TI-84 graphing calculators used in class, offers all students and teachers free 6-month software licenses for that calculator. Video instructions are available on Canvas, and only devices that are specifically math calculators will be allowed for quizzes. Course grading and information. This is an asynchronous course, which means you will complete your coursework online and on your own schedule, but by the required deadline provided. This course is delivered through an online course management system called My Stat Lab. Registration for My Stat Lab is required on the first day. There is an option of signing up for a 14-day temporary passcode. Within My Stat Lab, there is the online and interactive text. Since the website does not have a physical textbook to access, I have provided an online text in a PDF format located in the modules on Canvas. Each chapter of the text that we are going to study has 3 parts described below. Registration and video instructions are located on Canvas. The assignments are graded automatically by the website and synced to Canvas. Part 1, Interactive Reading Assignments, which are also called IRA. The IRA is where the course content is delivered to you via reading assignments, video presentation, examples, also with video solutions, interactive activities, and assessment questions. You earn points by watching videos and completing the activities. You begin each section by working through the IRA and filling in the guided notebook, which you'll see below. Some of the IRA's examples will have multiple video solutions. In this case, you should watch the Stat Crunch and, if you're using the optional calculator, plus video solutions. Part 2, Section Homework. Upon completion of the section's IRA, you should jump to the section's homework. For example, in Chapter 1, you should begin with Section 1.1 by reading the IRA and then proceed to the 1.1 homework. To move from the IRA in a section to the online homework for the section, you must get at least 70% on the IRA for that section. In other words, for example, to do the online homework for Section 1.1, you must receive at least 70% for the IRA for Section 1.1. Problems can be worked on until a correct answer is obtained to get that 70%. Now, I also want to point out there may be a few questions here or there that may say in parentheses that this is a reading assessment question, which means you only have 1 try for it. Now, there's only a few questions that you may have like that in the IRA. The rest of them you can continue to retry the question to eventually get the 70%. Now, I also place videos describing how to do the problem, so that'll also help you achieve and earn the 70%. Now, in Part 3, you have the end of the chapter review quiz. Each week, you have a quiz on the sections covered for that week. All assignments above, Parts 1, 2, and 3, are located on My Stat Lab, which you can access through Canvas and are due at the end of each week. Please review the late penalty policy further below in the syllabus. Stat Talk discussion questions. For some weeks, you'll be required to answer discussion questions located on Canvas. Sometimes you may have to refer to a video located on My Stat Lab. Statistician Andrew Vickers takes on the streets of Brooklyn, New York to demonstrate important statistical concepts through the interesting stories and real-life events. This series of videos will help you understand statistics. After watching or after viewing each video, you are required to respond to both questions or both discussion questions and at least 2 reply comments to your peers or to your own initial response posted throughout the week. Now, you should respond in complete sentences and in your own words. You are expected to answer all of them and get most of them correct. Any mistakes should be corrected once you have reviewed the posts of the instructor and your peers. You must post your initial thread and replies well before the deadline, meaning you want to get started at the beginning of the week. Description of each discussion question is in the modules on Canvas. So make sure that you take a look at the rubric for what points you will get in order to complete the Stat Talk discussion questions. So again, it's important to make sure that you answer at the beginning of the week to leave time throughout the week to be able to reply. Now also, you're not going to get a full credit response if it's just a yes or no. You must provide a detailed answer to the questions. Now here below, you're going to have which week the Stat Talk discussion questions are available and when it's due, which is also located on the syllabus. Now, projects. You're required to do 2 applied real-world data analysis projects. The first project is a data analysis comparison report where you collect, analyze, and compare two quantitative data sets. The final project will be to collect and analyze data and perform a research hypothesis test to answer an important question about the world around us. For both projects, you will make PowerPoint slides to explain your results and findings. See the tentative schedule for the due dates. Description of each project are in the modules on Canvas. So in addition to the description, you also have examples that you can view so that you know how to go ahead and complete the project. And here are the due dates for those. Quizzes and final exam. There will be 14 online quizzes plus a comprehensive final exam parts 1 and 2. There are 2 parts to the mandatory final exam. Final exam part 1 is a 5-question exam placed on Canvas as a downloadable file, and you will complete at your home and then submit back to Canvas. And then final exam part 2 will be online and it will be located on my Stat Lab. Now, all passwords for the quizzes in final exam part 2 are in the outline of each week located on Canvas. The final exam can replace your lowest quiz score using the following approach. It is my policy to replace a student's lowest quiz grade with the final exam, combine parts 1 and 2 at the end of the course. For this reason, I do not give makeup quizzes. A missed quiz will be recorded as a 0 and then replaced accordingly at the end of the semester. Missing the final will result in a 0, and I do not drop this grade. The instructor has the right to adjust this policy under special circumstances. Please make note that there are no extensions for quizzes or final exams, and no exceptions. Quiz deadlines, these are all located on the tentative schedule on page 5 below. The final exam deadlines are here, and they're also on a tentative schedule. Due dates, late penalties, and technical difficulties. All interactive homework, quizzes, review assignments, and stat discussion questions have the following late penalty policy. Students submitting work for course assignments after the due date are subject to a penalty of 5% of the points possible for the assignment per day, i.e. for each day passing after the due date. So for example, submissions posted after the due date within 24 hours of the date the assignment is due will be penalized 5% of the potential value of the assignment. Submissions posted between 24 and 48 hours after the due date may be penalized up to 10%, and so on. Due dates will not be extended because of technical difficulties. The deadlines on these assignments are not extended, and you must make plans to complete these. Due dates for online assignments are clearly stated in my Stat Lab. Now, sometimes in my Stat Lab, they may have an update, and if that happens, then I will give you an extension or another day's extension on those assignments. Otherwise, this is the late penalty policy. Homework study tips, homework videos. Guided notebook. This is an activity manual located on Canvas that you can access, download, and print, and it is free and located on Canvas. This is a place where you can take notes on the information given in the interactive reading assignment lectures by filling in all the information from the slides in the notebook or the interactive textbook. This will be a valuable resource for you to work through the online homework assignments for each section, as well as the quizzes and tests over the corresponding material. I highly recommend you watch the video of how you use the guided notebook, and I definitely recommend that if you start the guided notebook at the beginning of the course, it's going to be very helpful for you to be successful in this course. Now, pay close attention to the homework videos located on Canvas. This will be helpful to you as you move along with your homework assignments. Students with disabilities access. Students with disabilities, whether physical, learning, or psychological, or may need academic support in the classroom, are encouraged to contact Access as soon as possible to ensure that appropriate accommodations and/or services are implemented. Further information about this program may be found on the Copper Mountain College website and in the Office of Student Services at the Access counter. Please visit CMC's Access website for more information at the website or call the following number with that particular extension. Military-friendly statement. Veterans and active duty military personnel with special circumstances, e.g. upcoming deployments, drill requirements, disabilities, are welcome and encouraged to communicate these in advance, if possible, to the instructor. Equal opportunity statement. Copper Mountain College is committed to equal employment opportunity for all persons and to provide educational and employment opportunities free from discrimination based on ethnic group identification, national origin, religion, age, veteran status, sex, race, color, ancestry, sexual orientation, or physical or mental favors, and other physical or verbal conduct or communication constituting sexual harassment. Disclaimer: changes in curriculum, grading standards, and other requirements could change as necessary. It is the student's responsibility to know and understand all policies, procedures, and requirements for Copper Mountain College and this class. Any concerns should be directed to your instructor, the appropriate department chair, or college administrator in that order. Information in the syllabus is subject to change, and any important changes will be announced in class, and you will be provided with an updated syllabus. Below here you have your tentative schedule. You're going to find this on Canvas. You may want to print this out as a calendar so you know what you need here. Here you can see that the first day of class is January 28th. Okay, so this represents the first week. Here you're going to see that this is the course content that's covered during that first week, sections 1.1 to 1.4. So all assignments for sections 1.1 to 1.4 are due at the end of this week, in addition to the orientation and introduction discussion assignments and the quiz. So then you look at week 2. Week 2 goes from February 7th to the 14th. Here are the sections that are covered for that week. And again, this is your quiz 2 and all other information. So you can use this as a guideline for your tentative schedule. The next page is the online classroom communication. This is something that you can read on your time. This is the ground rules for online discussions. And then this next page is the statement on plagiarism and academic misconduct. Academic misconduct includes, but is not limited to, the following actions: cheating on an examination or quiz, either giving or receiving information, copying information from another person for graded assignments, using unauthorized materials during tests, collaboration during examinations, buying, selling, or stealing examinations, arranging a substitute for oneself during examinations, substituting for another person or arranging such a substitution, plagiarism, the intentional or accidental presentation of another's words or ideas, collusion with another person or persons, and submitting work for credit in class or lab, unless such collaboration is approved in advance by the instructor. Okay, so this is the information. From the Latin, plagiaris refers to the unacknowledged use of another person's words, ideas, or information. Rewriting, paraphrasing, summarizing, putting a passage into one's own words without recognizing the original source are still plagiarism. Okay, credit must be given to the author or creator. Plagiarism may carry serious consequences resulting in course failure and/or expulsion. Please refer to the Student Rights and Responsibilities section of the Copper Mountain College catalog. The following are examples of plagiarism. Okay, you can see here: copy and pasting text from websites, transcribing text from printed materials such as books, copying another person's work. Again, make sure you read through this list. Down here, you should see where it says faculty members who have reliable evidence of academic misconduct will 1. Investigate the matter, and 2. Review the facts of the matter and the proposed penalty with the appropriate academic dean. They may then take one or more of the following actions: require the work to be accomplished again, give no credit for the test, paper, or exercise, assign a grade of F or W for the course. Now, when you submit an assignment online through Canvas, it's going to look at that information. So please be conscious about the information that you submit online. Okay. Now, the last page basically is the title and topics that will be covered for the course. And this concludes the review of the syllabus.